March and the official first day of March Madness. We have the first 4 games in. It's been a really beautiful day here in Rock Springs. My name is Kellen Hansen, otherwise known as the Crimson Comet.
I don't think he can hear us.
Uh-oh.
So I'm Prison Mike.
Looks like it's just a 2-man show, baby.
We're down to no one right now.
You know what though? This is a party, man. This is the Prison Mike Crimson Comet sports fan extravaganza. We got all we need right here. Oh, Brady's back on. He's crashing the party. Brady, can you hear us?
I don't think he
He
can.
looks so confused. Well, while Brady's figuring that out, we'll just get on with it. Yeah, so we got a lot going on. For those watching for the first time, we are the Sportsfans. We are a sports comedy talk show. Talk a lot of sports, tell some jokes, have a nice chill time. The bearded wonder Jason Call will be joining us a little bit later, we hope. We will be giving him an extra amount of crap for being late, and it is very much deserved. But how have you guys been? How's life going?
I've been good. I think I finally got all my stuff together, so I'm here now.
We're glad. Were you having some technical difficulties, Brady?
I was. I don't know what happened. I couldn't hear anything. So, but I think I'm good.
Well, we did your introduction for you. Mike, how you been?
I've been pretty good. Not too much has been happening. I did some gambling last night, some fake gambling with money, like just some fake money from the college, and crushed it and won another TV. So that was awesome.
Did you guys do a did you have a bouncer this time like last time?
No, I didn't get tossed.
I would have been tossed if there was a bouncer, but there wasn't. So
I'm considering taking my talents to Vegas.
You know what, Mike? Why not?
Why not?
I agree, Mike.
We could start calling you Gamble Mike.
Yeah.
If you're on a hot streak like this, you can't stop. You got to keep going.
That is for sure.
It's terrible.
Mike's been on a hot streak. Mike's been on a hot streak for 21 years now, though, baby. Like,
that's true.
You think about it. That guy's a monster. Anyways, we have a lot that we want to talk about today. So much has gone on in the last couple of days in the world of sports, and so we've been excited to report about it. Some good things have happened for my Cardinals. Some good things have happened for Brady's Vikings, and there's been some crazy moves in the NFL. Let's just talk about a few of those. Why don't we start off with Brady?
Yeah, so there's been a lot of different pretty intense moves in the NFL. And one of them, I guess the first one we'll talk about is Kyle Van Noy. And too bad Jason's not here to talk about his BYU Cougar. But Kyle Van Noy is back to the Patriots, which I thought that was a really good fit for him. And I think that it's awesome that he's back there. I think that Patriots defense has the chance to be really good again.
Yeah. No. Well, the Patriots have had an excellent offseason so far. Seems like Bill Belichick has figured something out, and he's getting some really good players to come to New England. And the thing that I've been impressed by is not only are they coming to New England, he's getting them at like a good price. And I see Kyle Van Noy as a guy who already knows the system, already knows the Patriots way. He already has a really good relationship with a lot of the coaching staff and the teammates there. And I remember being surprised he left in the first place. So I think this is the ideal situation for him. And I think people in New England are going to be happy to have him back. I know Jason's happy to have him back. I mean, Jason, he's a diehard Jason's a diehard Patriots fan. He's always been. And it was always good to see in his eyes Tom Brady beat up on Peyton Manning. That's something he always enjoyed.
Oh,
I
I know.
love it when Jason's not on the podcast, but he's listening, because then I can say things without repercussion. And
There you go. You got
I
to get
like
it in
that.
now.
Yeah,
I feel like Kyle Van Noy going to the Patriots might hurt Jason's feelings about the Patriots, because Kyle Van Noy is not from Utah. He played for BYU.
yeah. No, that's true. Like that is definitely true. The thing is Jason likes whatever team has BYU players on it, though. So like,
No, I know. I'm saying that he's cheering for Utah as well.
Oh,
he
yeah.
is.
He is a diehard Utah Ute fan. We forgot to mention
Yeah, that's
that.
right. You bring up a really good point. Like, so Jason actually named his oldest son Kyle after head coach Kyle Whittingham of the Utah Utes. A lot of people don't know that. His oldest son is named Kyle Call, and then his middle son is Whitting, and his last son is Ham. So
Genius.
Hopefully this inspires Jason to wash dishes a little faster so he can get on the show and defend himself.
I know.
Stop these blatant lies.
I think Jason might actually be in tears. Let's move on. Let's move on to another free agent signing. Kenyon Drake left the Arizona Cardinals and signed a 2-year deal with the Las Vegas Raiders worth up to $14.5 million. I'm not gonna lie, I'm actually a little bit upset with this one. It's not something that I actually, because I like having Kenyon Drake. I thought he was a great all-purpose running back for the Cardinals, but I actually think he's going to be a good option for the Raiders. They already have Josh Jacobs, who's an excellent running back. I think having Kenyon Drake gives them a really good combo. Kind of reminds me of like that Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb combo. Obviously not to that level, but I think that could be another good situation for Kenyon Drake and bad move on his part. So
No. Sticking with the Cardinals here, we got a player going to the Cardinals, or we got two players. First, we got AJ Green, which we'll talk about him first. AJ Green, I feel like he's a good pickup by the Cardinals. They're just adding to that already pretty elite receiving core. Just another guy who's a little bit older, but I feel like still has a little bit left in the tank.
Yeah, and that's the thing about the AJ Green signing is it's like, well, you can say, oh, he's not really elite anymore. He doesn't need to be elite. Like
they got
have
lots of
DeAndre Hopkins. Why would
Hopkins.
you need another elite receiver? And I look at it this way. I mean, that receiving core is already really talented and they have a lot of potential. DeAndre Hopkins, we already know he's going to be consistently one of the top receivers in the league. I think Larry Fitzgerald's going to come back. I pray he does. I really hope he does. But I mean, just having AJ Green there and Andy Isabella, Christian Kirk. I just feel like there's a lot of good things going on in that receiving core, and I think AJ Green's going to be another really good, solid receiver for the Cardinals, and I think he might even have a little bit of a revitalization in his career.
Agreed. Another player, I feel like this is a guy that's not going to get as much attention, but I feel like it's at least as big a pickup, maybe even a bigger pickup for the Cardinals, is Rodney Hudson, the center. Rodney Hudson, I feel like, is one of the better centers in the NFL, and the Cardinals landed him. And anytime you can get a solid offensive lineman is a good thing.
See, and that's the thing that is one of the things that the Cardinals needed to address in this offseason was picking up offensive linemen that can protect Kyler Murray. Because Kyler Murray can do so much for it. He is so mobile, but you don't want him scrambling as much as he did last year. And I feel like if you can give him a little bit more stability back there, that is a really good pickup. And that's the sad thing in the NFL is like, and I know as a fan, it's hard for me to do it. We need to appreciate offensive linemen more.
Yeah, I completely agree with you guys. I mean, obviously there's great quarterbacks, but I feel like a lot of the quarterback success when it comes to throwing is credited to how good his offensive line is. If you don't have a good offensive line, it's so much harder for them. They struggle. And so that's a really good pickup. And I was just going to ask, who do the Cardinals have at running back since they just got rid of Kenyon Drake?
They had Chase Edmonds. I like Chase Edmonds. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Cardinals maybe grab somebody in the draft or maybe grab another.
So they're going to have to look to try and pick up another running back. The only Kenyon Drake is the only reason I know the dude is because Kellen passed off like 8 seasons on Madden with that guy on his team, and he was pretty solid. So I don't know how he was in real life, but on Madden he was pretty good.
That's what really matters is the Madden.
That's what really matters is Madden. No, and that's the thing is like running back's one of those positions in the NFL, and I played running back in high school, but I recognize that in the NFL, running backs really aren't as valued as receivers and other skill position players, and it's kind of warranted because most teams want to go with a multiple back system anyways. And most teams do lean towards passing the ball more. Now, having a great running back is a huge, huge blessing, but it's not valued the same as receivers. Like for me, I would rather have the best receiver in the NFL than the best running back. I think that's like easy. Yeah, but like we were talking about earlier, though, I would rather have the best offensive line in the league than the best wide receiver or best running back in the league. So
that's a good point.
Good point. Yep.
Another player leaving the Cardinals is cornerback Patrick Peterson. And Patrick Peterson is leaving Kellen's favorite team to join my favorite team, the Minnesota Vikings. And I really want to get your opinion on this, Kellen, because I'm pretty happy because I remember Patrick Peterson back in his glory days when he was a Pro Bowler and one of the best corners in the league. And then I was talking to another Cardinals fan yesterday who was saying how happy he was to get rid of Patrick Peterson, and he was like, get ready for a crappy cornerback who's going to get burned all the time and who's just like a cocky bugger. So what are your thoughts on Patrick Peterson? Because I've kind of heard both sides.
Yeah, no, I mean, here's the thing. Yeah, Patrick Peterson he's a perennial Pro Bowler, and at one point, I mean, he's got to be considered among the greatest defensive players in Arizona Cardinal history. But no, there's no denying there's been a decline in his game over the last couple of years, and it seems like teams kind of go at him a little bit more than they used to. I think it's almost to prove a point. The thing that people don't understand, first of all, is cornerback is the hardest position in the NFL.
Oh, yeah.
I will debate that with anybody. You can say, well, quarterback but what about an offensive lineman or linebacker? No. Cornerback, the most difficult position in the NFL because every play, you are going one-on-one against a freak athlete who knows the play. You don't know the play. He knows what he's doing, and you're doing it backwards. Cornerback is the hardest position in the NFL. And I think Patrick Peterson is one of those guys that he got matched up against a lot of really good receivers. And in the last couple of years, I just don't think he's been at the level he was before. That being said, having a guy like Patrick Peterson, a guy who went to 8 straight Pro Bowls, and that was from 2011 to 2019, you're looking at a guy who has so much experience and who could very well have, like I said, kind of a revitalization in his career. So I think, as a Cardinals fan, I will say this. I'm not super upset that he's gone. But if I was a Minnesota fan, I would be happy he's there.
Perfect. Yeah, I'm happy. He's got to be better than some of the guys they have on the roster, so can't get any worse.
Yeah, I agree. I just want to say we brought up BYU a little bit before the show, and we were just talking about their football team and how they are and how they're going to be next year. This is what Jason commented. He commented consistently overrated. That was him talking about BYU football and just BYU sports in general. He said they are consistently overrated. I don't agree with that, but I guess Jason, he just had to throw that out there for some reason. I don't know. All right, here's the one. Here's the big signing, guys. This one is the crazy one. And this is one that I didn't see coming, but I know that I didn't think this guy was a very good quarterback, but I didn't think he was this big of an idiot. Like Mitchell Trubisky, who was the number 2 pick in the 2017 draft by the Chicago Bears, and I think he made a Pro Bowl with the Bears, has reached – I think when we were on our missions, he reached a 1-year deal with the Buffalo Bills to serve as Josh Allen's backup. And this happened after Andy Dalton got signed by the Bears. So I was thinking when Andy Dalton got signed by the Bears, all right, you're going to have a quarterback competition in Chicago again. But it seems like they didn't want to do that. And so Mitchell Trubisky will be Josh Allen's backup. I want to hear your thoughts on this, Brady. Is this a smart move for Trubisky?
I feel like for Trubisky, I feel like he still had a chance to be a starter in Chicago. That might be totally wrong. Maybe the Bears got Andy Dalton thinking he would be the starter. But in my opinion, and I know a lot of people shared this opinion, it was kind of going to be a competition between Mitchell Trubisky and Andy Dalton for that starting spot. So I'm really surprised that he's left. And as far as the Bills go, I don't mind the pickup. Obviously, Josh Allen's going to be the starter. There's no debate about that. But I feel like they just picked up Trubisky just in case things go bad, or in case Allen gets injured or something like that happens. They have a guy who they can trust a little bit to put in there. So I don't think it's a bad pickup by the Bills, but I'm really surprised that Trubisky would go to Buffalo to be a backup and just kind of concede that he's not going to be a starting quarterback in the league anymore.
Yeah. Prison Mike?
Yeah, I completely agree with Brady. I don't know. I feel like it kind of goes against a lot of, I'll say, like the human makeup of how we're built to just naturally want to be the backup and not the starter. Like even if you're not good enough when you're a little kid, no one wants to be the backup and ride the bench. Everyone wants to be in the game for the most part. And so just I find it strange that he would. I don't know if he was thinking that he'd get paid better or if he'll save face if he gets beat out, but just him leaving a team where he could potentially start to go somewhere else where he's only going to play if Josh Allen gets injured or they're up by like 30 points. So I don't know. I find it surprising that he would do that.
Yeah. Well, and we've seen it before. Like we saw it last year with Jameis Winston, like guy who's a starter. Has shown some good stuff as a starter, goes to a team as a backup. We saw that with Jameis Winston, like I said. But the difference is Jameis Winston went into that situation knowing he was going to have an opportunity to take over for Drew Brees after Drew Brees retired.
Josh Allen is not retiring.
That's the thing. Josh Allen, this guy was top 5 MVP voting. He's young. He's talented. He has the city of Buffalo in the palm of their hand. I mean, there would be a mutiny if Josh Allen got benched. Right? And I just think Mitchell Trubisky was like, maybe I don't really like playing that much. I just I'll get paid a lot and I can just sit on the sidelines. I guess it'll be fun. I don't know. I don't know what his line of thinking there was, because you think, all right, like there's teams out there that, the quarterback spot isn't so solidified. Maybe I'll go to one of those teams and at least compete for the job, or at least, give myself a viable chance of starting again someday. But I just don't – that's not going to happen while he's in Buffalo. I mean, I remember when Marcus Mariota went to the Raiders, people were saying, well, he'll compete with Derek Carr for that spot. But Josh Allen has been so magnificent. There's just no chance that that he's going to see the field unless Josh Allen gets injured.
Yeah,
but
I completely agree.
Yeah. Any other big deals that have been going on? I think that's all we got.
Yeah, there's smaller ones, but as far as like the big name guys or big ones, I think that's about all. I'm sure we'll see more as time goes on.
I do want to talk about this real quick, just because I saw this video, and this to me is a game changer. So we know that the NFL draft is coming up. Lot of really good this is a really good quarterback class. Obviously, we know Trevor Lawrence is kind of a once in a generation prospect. A lot of people have been high on Zach Wilson. I know Jason is he doesn't have much faith in Zach Wilson. He told me he thinks he should go undrafted. But Justin Fields is another guy that's been in this conversation for the top quarterbacks. Have you guys had the opportunity to see his video of him running a laser time 40?
I have not seen it.
So remember, Taysom Hill ran like a 4.45, I think, or a 4.44.
Uh-huh.
Justin Fields, who has a cannon on him, by the way, like I think people have seen him as a mobile quarterback, but like he's definitely one of those guys that you see him more as just he usually just uses his legs to extend plays, right? And you kind of see him as a guy who just airs it out a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Dude ran a 4.4140. And then he commented on it. By the time it's the combine, I will be in the 4.3s.
Golly.
So here's my question. If Justin Fields can run a 4.340 in the combine, and we already know the arm talent he has, does he surpass Zach Wilson as that number 2 prospect? And where do you see his potential as a NFL quarterback?
I feel like it's at least got to put him about even with Zach Wilson. Obviously, before this, like you said, Zach Wilson was a little bit ahead of Justin Fields. But as we've seen lately with quarterbacks, and kind of the trend is you want quarterbacks who are mobile, who can escape. We've seen Lamar Jackson win the MVP by doing that. We see Kyler Murray. That's the way he plays. And I feel like this boosts Justin Fields way up the draft board. Obviously, we know about his arm talent. We've seen how he can just launch the ball. But now with that speed, I feel like personally for me, I will say I think it puts him ahead of Zach Wilson.
Yeah. Mike?
So one thing that I find intriguing about Zach Wilson and Justin Fields is I feel like this college – it was really hard to compare those two in this college football season that we had because Ohio State did not play very many games, but the games they did play were against some really good competition for the most part towards the end of the season. And BYU, Zach Wilson was dominant the whole season, but their competition wasn't quite as high. And so I don't know. I really don't know where those two would compare. And the fact that Justin Fields can run such a fast 40 is really impressive. I feel like in the NFL, obviously quarterbacks need to be able to scramble, but I don't feel like having the fastest quarterback in the world is super important because, I mean, you look at Tom Brady, that dude, when he I watched him run the 40-meter dash, the 40-yard dash, that had to have been one of the most unathletic things I've ever seen. But he's the greatest quarterback. You at least
concede that I'm more athletic than Tom Brady.
Yes. You could definitely beat him.
Okay, thank you.
Yes,
100%. I think we're all more athletic than Tom Brady, if we're being honest.
When it comes to running a 40-yard dash, yes.
I hope so.
But so I don't know. I feel like fast 40 is important in a quarterback, but it's not the number one thing you look for. So I mean, it boosts his stock a little bit, but I don't know how much.
So, in my opinion, I think that does this make him look better in the eyes of certain teams? Yes, like it's intriguing. But I also think it does. I agree with kind of what Mike says. Look, Zach Wilson, I I know he played some inferior talent, but there were some throws he made where I was like, that is an NFL level throw. Like,
Yeah, but we
and
saw a lot of those from Justin Fields too.
the difference,
NFL level throws.
and here's the thing is, and here's why people are still high on Zach Wilson instead of Justin Fields, is Zach Wilson has a couple, like Justin Fields did make some great throws. The difference is Zach Wilson was doing a little bit more consistently, and it's not always about the throw. It's about eyeing down your receivers and going to your second option and not being predictable. And I think that what a lot of NFL scouts see from Justin Fields, if there is a knock from what I've read, is that he does have a tendency to eye down his primary receiver at times, whereas Zach Wilson is very good at avoiding that. But at the same time, like I will say this, while I do, and some of it might have to do with BYU bias, but I do think that the talent level between Zach Wilson and Justin Fields is incredibly thin. I think those two are very close in terms of, if I was a team, I'd be looking at both of those guys very closely because I think both of them are really good dudes. But I don't think either of them compare to Trevor Lawrence, and that is my honest opinion. I look at Trevor Lawrence, and I just am like, as good as those other two guys are, and as good as I think both of them could be, I look at Trevor Lawrence, and it's just, in my opinion, and maybe I'll get in trouble for this down the road. He's about as sure of a thing as you're going to find in terms of like a quarterback prospect.
Yeah, a player like him only comes around once in a while.
Yeah, and we'll talk about him more as the draft comes up in the future. But I just think 4.41, Justin Fields, like, that is very, very impressive. Another person we forgot to mention that Jamal Williams, Jason wanted us to remind him of Jamal Williams, us to remind you guys of Jamal Williams, backup running back for the Green Bay Packers going to the Detroit Lions. Have you guys seen anything on Dan Campbell, the Lions' new head coach?
I haven't. No, I haven't heard anything.
Dan Campbell. So this is a guy who he was a coach for the Dolphins for a while. He's a former NFL player, and he talked about, because he played in Detroit I think for a while, and he talked about how when they were playing, when they got up, they were gonna bite people's kneecaps off in his press conference. I've watched a lot of this guy's like one of my favorite coaches in the NFL. So I actually really like Dan Campbell. Look him up if you get the chance. I really think he's going to be a good coach. I hope he does. I hope that Detroit has some success. But yeah, Jamal Williams is going to be going to the Detroit Lions. Good for him. I don't really have that high of it. I feel like Jamal Williams is like the prime example of a running back that's never going to do anything great, but occasionally he'll do some good things.
He's never going to be bad, but he's just going to be a good, solid backup running back his whole career.
He's kind of that guy that, you wonder why he's in as much as he is, and then he makes a good play, and you're like, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's solid. Not amazing, but solid.
Yeah. Jason has also decided he is no longer going to be giving brisket to people ever. I don't know why.
I guess on the fans.
He just doesn't want any of the fans to eat his brisket. This is what you get when you miss a show, though. Like, this is the punishment. But we do love you, Jason. We wish you nothing but the best as you do dishes. You've officially missed half a show, and we've talked. We've talked a lot about BYU too. Like, that's the funny thing is, like, we brought up Kyle Van Noy, Zach Wilson,
Jamal Williams.
Jamal Williams.
Maybe
Golly,
it is. Maybe it is a good thing he's not on here because that would have taken the whole time just to get through those 3 topics.
he'd be like, Zach Wilson is smart. When Zach Wilson was in the 4th grade, he got 102% on his history test. That's how in-depth Jason goes with BYU sports. It's really impressive, actually. There's been times where I'm in shock with how much he knows about BYU. Let's go talk a little bit of NBA. This is a story that actually is actually pretty sad. So former NBA center and actually a former BYU star as well, Sean Bradley. The news came out yesterday that on January 20th, the 7'6" Sean Bradley was struck from behind by an automobile while riding his bicycle near his home in St. George. And he has undergone neck fusion surgery and has spent the last 8 weeks in rehabilitation. He is now paralyzed. I'm not sure of the extent of his paralysis, but this is definitely something that is not something you want to hear about. This is a guy he was in Space Jam. I mean, this is a guy who was pretty iconic in the league, and definitely feel bad about this happening. But yeah, I mean, guy who averaged 8 points, 6 rebounds, and almost 2.5 blocks during his 12-season NBA career. So
yeah, it's super sad. And I just have to say one thing, and this might make some people mad, but screw Utah drivers. They're always in a hurry to get places, and they're just wild. No wonder he got hit in Utah. I think he was in St. George. They're just always crazy fast and wild, and Utah would be the place to get hit riding a bike for sure.
Statistically, Utah's actually ranked worst in the nation. And that's not just a Wyoming bias coming out. Utah drivers are the worst in the country. So if you're a Utah driver, stop. We should make a law that people from Utah can't drive. They can only take bikes.
I agree. Let's just shut down the roads in Utah.
No, it's terrible. But no, this is a horrible thing. And the thing is when you're 6'7",
7'6".
That's different.
I was gonna say that you'd have to be going really fast to miss seeing him on a bike. I mean, the dude's huge.
And that's the thing, though, is I don't know. And obviously, there's not a lot of details out as to what happened. But you think about it. If you get hit by a car, if we would have been in that situation, I don't know how bad it was, but it probably wouldn't have been as severe. But when you're 6'7", your body is built different, and you 7'6". Fall different. Yeah, 7'6". Your body, you fall different. The impact is just a completely different thing, and there's so much more spine that can be injured. And so this is something that you hate to hear about, hate to see, but you also know he's the type of person and I've talked to people that have been around him. He's the type of person, he's very resilient. He's going to be able to do a lot to continue to do good.
Is it just me, or has there been a lot of accidents with former professional athletes recently? I feel like there's been a lot of more than normal amount of accidents and deaths among players.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it happens, and it being kind of the public eye. The thing is this happened over a month ago, almost 2 months ago. So obviously they were trying to keep it private, and then I think they decided to kind of come out with it. And
And speaking of BYU basketball, not to change the subject, but I'm currently watching Michigan State right now, and they are looking dang good. So I think BYU might be in a little bit of trouble next round.
Yeah, Jason's gonna hate me. I actually picked BYU to go to the Sweet 16 in one of my brackets. I actually picked BYU to get beat by Michigan State in the first round in my other bracket.
I think it's a real possibility. Michigan State is looking good.
And it's not because I don't love BYU, but I recognize a lot of talent in Michigan State. They're too well coached. Like I can't.
Tom Izzo.
It's Tom Izzo. Like, and watching a guy like Tom Izzo, if he gets into the tournament, it's kind of why I feel like North Carolina might do okay, because I'm like, coaches like that with that much talent like they get, you never know what's going to happen in the tournament anyways. So
all I can say is I hope in Jason's second bracket he didn't have BYU going to the Final Four. That's all I got for Jason.
I
Hopefully
guarantee they're at least go to the Sweet 16 in that.
In his Final Four, maybe in his second bracket, he had BYU in the national championship.
He probably had him winning. He probably had him winning. It was probably like BYU versus Baylor. BYU 104, Baylor 7 or something like that.
Well, hopefully it wasn't that bad, but I do agree with Brady. I mean, BYU can still win, and there's definitely a possibility of it, but Michigan State is looking pretty good. But, I mean, it's still an 11-point game, so UCLA is in it. So we don't know.
Yeah.
Still don't know the outcome of that one.
Yeah. Yeah, while we're on it, let's talk about some of the other first 4 games because, we're into March Madness. They've already got a lot of the games played, so we know. So Drake beat Wichita State, which I think there's some people that they thought Wichita State was going to advance, and they thought that Wichita State might pull off some upsets. That did not end up happening. Were you guys able to watch that game?
Yeah.
Drake,
so Mike and I ended up watching pretty much the whole thing, and I really like Drake.
Excellent game.
Who's the guy, Drake or Mike? Was it?
I can't remember his name unless an answer say it. It starts with the Y. It's like
Joseph something. Yeah, I watched their guard.
Number 1. He was number 1. Yeah.
Joseph Yusufu. Yep.
Yeah, that dude was electric to watch. That dunk he threw down right before halftime was crazy.
One of the plays of the tournament. Like that will be in the highlight film. That will be in one shining moment.
Mm-hmm. So it's cool to see Drake advance. I feel like they're a fun team to watch. They might not go. Yeah. They might not win the next round, but they're fun to watch. And
I think a lot of people they weren't really giving them much of a chance. Like everybody was kind of saying, I don't think Drake really has much of a chance just because Wichita State has had so much success in the past. But, they weren't able to get past Drake Bulldog. So, another game, Texas Southern beat Mountain St. Mary's. The thing that's interesting is both Drake and Texas Southern in their games, they trailed the majority of the game. Like, they trailed for a big part of the game. Both of them ended up coming out on top. Texas Southern beat Mount St. Mary's 60-52. I was able to watch that game. And then, right before, while we were starting, Appalachian State was playing Norfolk State. Norfolk State ended up winning that one 54-53. But there was a point in the game where Appalachian State trailed by 20 points. It's March Madness. I'm telling you what, there's just something about watching college basketball in March. It changes everything.
Yeah, I love thoughts. Sorry, I'm going to interrupt a little bit. I love that already 2 of the games that were played today came down to the buzzer. Like it came down to the last shot, and neither of them made the buzzer beater, but it was exciting. And so there's some great basketball going on. Just a little something about Drake while we were watching it. They said that this was their first NCAA tournament win in 50 years. The last one they had was 50 years ago. So that's pretty cool. Like they finally got a win in the tournament.
Yeah. No, that's something pretty exciting. Some other super good news that I think all of us as fans are excited to hear. The NCAA has completed more than 9,100 COVID-19 tests heading into the NCAA tournament. only 8 total positives came among Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3 personnel, which means that we're going to have a tournament.
Heck yeah.
Can I just say, like, I think we need to appreciate that. Like, as sports fans, I guess there never was a scenario. Why would anyone think the NCAA tournament would ever get canceled, right? Like, such a monumental, groundbreaking event that everybody's kind of obsessed about if you're a sports fan. It got canceled last year. Like, and we didn't get to watch it last year. Like, that's still astounding to me. But I just think we need to appreciate the fact that we're actually having an NCAA tournament this year and March Madness is back. Like, filling out those brackets was kind of exciting because it was like, man, this is the first time I've filled out a bracket since 2017. Like, it's been 4 years since I've filled out a bracket. So I was pretty excited about that.
Yeah, super exciting time, and I'm so excited for tomorrow. It's going to be, like you said a while ago, Kellen, it's going to be so hard for me to go to my classes and, like, do homework.
Yeah,
I'm not going to do anything else.
I'm going to be watching a lot of TV. The thing that's funny about March, too, is you end up, like, I feel like I don't watch a lot of full games, but I watch, like, parts of, like, every game. Like, I'll be watching a game, and I'm just, like, checking scores, and then I, like, flip over to whatever game is best. But if there's like 2 or 3 games at the same time, you're like, switch. And so,
That's true.
oh no.
What?
We've got Jason has arrived.
Oh, here he is to shut us up.
All right, we're gonna give Jason some time.
Steak.
Jason, we
good for you. Good for
Kellen
you.
Never tried beef made by these hands ever for a whole year.
Been banned.
Come on, that's a little dramatic. Okay?
Jason, you should scoot.
The line and man.
Jason, you should scoot to your right a tiny bit. The light from the mirror is like just blinding us.
I asked Jason in the comments what his steak
There we go.
tastes like, and this is what he replied.
What is that supposed to be? Oh.
I don't know. You sent it.
Yeah.
That is a good looking steak. We're
for
happy
you.
to have you. We're happy to have you.
Sorry we ragged on you while you were gone, but I'm pretty sure we all motivated you to wash dishes faster. So.
I wasn't washing dishes. I had to mop a floor.
Then why'd you say you hate washing dishes?
Because when you started, I was washing dishes.
Oh.
No. Well,
Oh, that's so good.
Get
I
mopping.
was going to eat this entire steak and make you guys wish you were here with me right now.
Okay, the punishment matches the crime.
My wife made me a shrimp carbonara for dinner. So
Oh, wow.
That's good, but
I was told by 7 different people tonight that this was the best steak they'd ever had in their entire life.
I can vouch for Jason. He makes a mean steak.
I'm
Dang.
eating this barehanded. Did you just see? Watch this.
I'm just going to, like, cover him on my screen so I can't see him.
Yeah, me too.
There you go. That's better. No, we're happy for you. We deserve the punishment, Jason. We were speaking slander. Let's talk some MMA. Brady, why don't you cover this story? Because this is like, and I feel like unless you follow MMA closely, you're not going to know who this fighter is. But I'm telling you what, I'm actually really excited for this fight because I feel like I've actually followed both of these guys, and these 2 guys that are fighting in the main event for the fight night are 2 monsters. They are animals. So, Brady, why don't you take it away and fill us in on it a little bit?
Yeah, so we have a fight night this Saturday. And we have Kevin Holland and Darren Brunson as the main event. And I'm not as familiar with Derek Brunson. I definitely know who he is. But Kevin Holland, someone I'm really familiar with, because last year he just went on a complete tear. I think he won 5 fights in 2020, which is incredible. And his last fight, he capped it off with one of the most amazing TKOs I've ever seen to win the fight. He was on his back and ended up pretty much knocking the guy out from his back, which was crazy. And Kellen, did you see the video? There was a video that came out today where it was showing the audio, and Kevin Holland was like making fun of the guy while he was punching him while he was on his back. Kevin Holland was like, "Oh, you think this is fun, don't you? Like, you having a good time?" And like, "Watch this," and then just knocks him out.
Well, the thing is like, you could be like, well, he wasn't fighting anybody, but like, the guy who was fighting Jacare Sosa is like a stud in the MMA. Like he hasn't won a lot, but this is a guy who used to be like he's won Strikeforce. He had like a huge streak in the MMA. He's lost, but he's only lost to like really good fighters. And so like, yeah, Kevin Holland this guy's a monster, but I'm telling you guys, Derek Brunson is a dude who you do not want to mess with. Like, this is another guy who he's competed at the highest level against some of the highest fighters. He's had he's fought multiple champions, and he's beaten some really good guys. So this is going to be a really good fight, but I'll tell you what, I'm not going to go against Holland at this stage with the streak he's going. I mean, he 5 in a row, and the thing I love about this guy is he loves to fight. He's not doing 1 or 2 fights a year. Like, his last fight was in December, and he's fighting already in March. Like, this guy could very well have another 5 fights, I think, this year. And I think it would not surprise me to see Kevin Holland get an opportunity to fight for the belt by the end of the year.
What weight class are they in?
Middleweight.
Middleweight. Who holds the belt currently?
Izzy.
Israel Adesanya.
So they'll get a shot at the belt, but they probably won't win it, is what you're saying.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Late again? When have I ever been late?
He's triggered.
You know what, Kellen? There are 3 steaks in this bowl, and I will eat every single one of them in front of you.
Dude, I actually want to see you do that.
Flush my diet down the drain.
Do it. You won't.
No, I won't.
Call him on his bluff.
I called the bluff. No, Jason, I'm sorry. Do you want me to change your name? Do you want me to change your name?
I haven't seen mine today. What's mine?
Look. Oh, even the finger licks are fantastic.
Is that better? Is that a better title for you?
I do make good steaks. I don't mean to toot my own horn, but I am good. Okay.
This is your professional steer.
MMA. Did you guys see the story about the Twitter beef between Aljamain Sterling and Peter Yan?
I did a little bit. I saw some of it on Twitter.
Dude, so Aljamain Sterling tried to call out Peter Yan with this video of Homer Simpson reading a book and said, "Did your team learn the rules yet?" And then he let me see. Oh man, it doesn't show the other ones. Oh wait, so Peter Yan tweeted back, "Keep playing the victim. You're the softest fighter on the UFC roster."
Ooh.
He is the world champion, though.
Yeah, and then Aljamain Sterling gets kind of vulgar after that. If you want to look at it, you can go find it. But if they rematch that fight anytime soon, that's going to be really, really fun to watch.
I kind of hope they do.
You know what fight I want to see? Because this is a grudge match and something that I'm really excited about, and it is because
Kamaru Usman.
Kamaru Usman, the Predator. Is that his nickname?
I think so.
Yeah, he is fighting a rematch against Jorge Gamebred Masvidal. These guys have beef, man. And I love Jorge
BMF
Masvidal.
title, too. Don't forget, this is the BMF title.
It is. And I love Jorge Masvidal, by the way. This is a guy who I absolutely love. I love watching him fight. We will preview this when it's time because it's not time yet. But these guys have some beef and like I'm not even sure this is the best fight for Usman because I just see Usman as like I don't know if there's a fighter in the MMA right now that's actually as dominant as Usman. I think we all sleep on Usman a little bit because maybe he's not as exciting as some of the other guys. But I am looking forward to that, and I'm glad that they made that the main event, and that gives me something to look forward to in the month of April.
And you can't forget that there's going to be a full crowd in attendance for the first time since COVID happened.
We're going to Florida.
We're going to Florida, boys.
If I had the means.
I'm gonna be broke before I finish this semester just with all the stuff you guys are doing with me.
If I had the means to go to the fight in Jacksonville, I would totally do it.
Guys, subscribe and like our videos so we can make money and go to the fight.
Oh, could you imagine? No, that is
Jacksonville.
We got to make it to Jacksonville.
When's the fight?
April.
It's
I'm gonna
possible.
start a GoFundMe for us to go to the fight.
Yeah, we really want to go. We feel like we deserve it, and it's something that's important.
We should start a GoFundMe campaign.
Yeah.
Grady needs to see the sun.
Jason, just sell more steaks.
I gotta buy the steak before I can sell it, though.
True.
I'll provide you with a cow.
Cool. Now we just gotta find somebody that can cut it up, and we're solid.
Well, we need to find a butcher.
I don't know any butchers.
Any butchers? The sound of our voices. We need your help.
My brother-in-law's a butcher. Well, works at a meat processing plant.
All right.
He could do it
Mike's
for us.
brother-in-law's got us.
Oh.
Mike has somebody for everything.
Mike's just got guys. Well, that's what happens when you go to prison, man.
That's true.
I have
you know people.
Yeah, we're not looking for those types of butchers, Mike.
Mike.
Jason, just so you know, Michigan State's kind of beating up on UCLA.
Yeah, they're making me a little nervous. My bracket might be busted a little early. But you know what?
Both of your brackets?
Yeah.
How far do you have BYU going in both your brackets?
I have BYU going to the round of 32 in my other one.
And losing to Texas?
Yeah.
Okay, that's more realistic.
That's blasphemous for you, isn't it?
No, I served my mission in Texas. I'm a closet Longhorns fan.
That's fair. That's fair.
But the one thing I do have to say that gives me a little hope is Michigan has been described as a roller coaster team this year. So maybe they're at the top of their straight down plummet. We'll find out.
That's the thing I love about the NCAA tournament, though, is basketball is one of those sports where, like, you're just going to have a bad shooting day. Like, every team is going to have a game where things don't go your way. And, like, you look at Gonzaga, it could happen to them. Like, what happens to Gonzaga if they have a bad shooting day? They could have their first loss of the season. And talent will make up for that a lot. But the thing about the NCAA tournament, though, is when you get to teams that are a little bit more even, it can create some problems. And so I'm telling you what, though, I do feel with this tournament, you're going to see a high-seeded team or a low-seeded team, like something 8 or above, that are going to surprise everybody. Like I'm going to predict that.
That would be cool. Everyone loves an upset.
Everyone loves an upset.
Were your dogs on poop that you stepped in?
Yeah. Barefooted.
Ah, that's nasty.
Just wait until it's your kid's spit up or something. It's even funner. More fun. It's even more fun. Sorry.
I was going to correct you.
We're a ways away from that, my friends. But okay, well, we're running low on time, so I think we should jump into our C-squared moment of El Dia. And we're going to start things off with our boy PM.
All right. My C-squared moment of the day. You probably are getting tired of hearing this, but I'm still super happy about it. Last night, I went to a casino night here on campus, and they gave us like 100 fake dollars. And I played some poker for a while and did okay. And then I won 3 times in a row on roulette, and I was all in, all my money in all 3 times, and I ended up with a decent amount of money, and I got a TV with that
Mike,
money.
I am taking you to Vegas.
Yeah, I pretty much need to go to Vegas because I won a 32-inch Roku TV for like 1,500 fake dollars.
Nice.
I'm really happy about that still.
See, I didn't hear the whole story, so I'm really happy for you, Mike.
Thanks.
Now you just have to get your Hulu subscription so you can watch March Madness.
I would, but Brady helped me out. We're good.
I hooked him up.
Good deal. Good deal.
All right, Brady, you're up.
All right, my C-squared moment of the day. I'm gonna go. So, little backstory. I thought my car was like completely broken. It has 310,000 miles on it, so it's been going forever. And lately, it's been shaking like crazy, and the check engine light is on. So I drove it down to an auto parts store, and I got their little code reader, read the code, and it turns out that it's something simple that I can like fix myself just by watching YouTube if I just buy the parts. So that was a relief today. I found that out. I thought I was gonna have to abandon my van that I've driven since like my sophomore year of high school, but she's still up and going. So maybe she has another 300,000 more miles in her.
If that happens, I'm pretty sure you'll set a Guinness Book of World Record.
That's the goal. I'm gonna drive that thing the rest of my life.
What's your van's name?
Laura.
Laura, that's right. We love Laura. Good memories with Laura.
That's awesome.
My C-squared moment of the day, and then we'll have Jason finish it up, is my wife worked from like 6:30 till like 6:30 in the morning, like 6:30 at night. She had like over a 12-hour day at work, and now she's exhausted, and she is on our couch sleeping, and lying on her is my 5-month-old puppy, Josie. And it is like the most adorable image I think I've ever seen in my life. I am in love. Anyways, that is my C-squared moment of the day.
Solid.
Kellen, I too am in love. I too am in love with this lovely piece of meat right here that I spent hours of my day preparing. Oh, it's still so good. And my C-squared moment of the day comes from the fact that when I ate that steak in front of you, a little piece got lodged in between my teeth. I've just been sucking on it, and it's so wonderful. So,
would you like to defend yourself from what we said earlier?
No, because basically what
your son is not named Kyle, by the way. His son is not named Kyle.
What the general public should know is when Kellen's smiling like that, it means he's lying. He is a liar.
Well, that's fair. That's fair. I wouldn't say lying. I would say fibbing.
Bending the truth.
Exaggerated.
You can justify that all you want, Kellen. We both know what you really are.
So Jason's son is not named Kyle. His name is Bronco after Bronco Mendenhall. And Jason loves Jamal Williams. Jason thinks that Zach Wilson is the reincarnation of Patrick Mahomes.
I do not think that. Whoa, now you're going the other way. Slow your roll, buddy. I do think he's going to be one of the. No, I you know what? Like, I think when all is said and done, Zach Wilson's career will be one that we look back on and say, "Wow."
I say that about Jamarcus Russell. Like, I look back and I'm like, wow.
Yeah, we do say that. But wow in a good way.
Okay.
There
All
you
right.
go.
Well, we're going to be signing off. We will be back to you guys on Monday. Check out our channel this weekend. We will have a new upload that is not a live stream. You guys can check that out. We will be sharing it all over the place. Remember to like and subscribe to our channel. Also, huge shout out to everybody who signed up for the men's tournament challenge. I think you have till tomorrow. You can still submit a bracket.
I think it's midnight tonight, if I
Is it
remember.
midnight tonight?
I think it is midnight.
Yeah, so the first 4 games, you kind of have a better idea. You might be able to just use a little expertise if you feel like Michigan State is the real deal or whatever. You can go and make that change if you need to. I'm not going to. I'm gonna live and die by
Leave
my.
it. At least you're loyal.
Yes, I am that. I'm like somebody I know.
Hey, I have it going. Dude, in my family bracket, I'm pretty sure I have BYU going to the Elite Eight.
Yeah.
But
my wife filled out a bracket, guys. My wife filled out a bracket.
Shout out.
Basketball game she watched this year? Like maybe a half of one, maybe.
Shout out to Ashley with the name Nunez fan #1. We got her hooked on NBA, and she's taking it to like another level. So
that's awesome.
But yeah, shout out to everybody that's doing the bracket. Remember, there is prizes on the line for whoever wins. So
if BYU wins the national championship, I'm making steak for everyone except for Kellen.
Sounds like a deal.
That is the best punishment I can come up with there.
Fair. That's fair. Okay. We're gonna be signing off. We'll be back on Monday on the live stream, Monday or Tuesday on the live stream, depending on our schedules. And if you're in the Rock Springs area, we will be on 91.3 tomorrow. So thank you guys so much for your time. We're gonna be signing off. This is the Crimson Comet.
Lazy Snake.
Prison Mike.
And the Bearded Wonder.
And remember,
K.
G.
Brother.